Time is approximately 6 p.m., November 10th, 2022. Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting will now come to order. All Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings can be seen live on Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3, as well as the Farragut YouTube channel and our website. It will also be recorded, can be viewed later on the Town of Farragut YouTube channel, as well as Charter Channel 193 and TDS Channel 3. During the regular posted agenda, all comments or questions from Farragut residents will be now in person. If you are interested in speaking, we ask that you fill out a blue card with your name, address, and agenda number, and turn it into the town recorder prior to the start of the meeting. The mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, shall maintain and control the meeting to provide a professional and objective environment. So please read the posted comment protocol and understand there will be a 5-minute limit for each speaker, and please stay on topic. As at the end of tonight's business meeting, there will be some time reserved for other public comment under the citizens' comment agenda. Okay, we'll start with tonight with a silent prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll now ask the town recorder, please take attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Poplin. Here. Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. Okay. We do have a quorum. Approval of agenda. Is there any agenda amendments?
No, sir.
None. All in favor of approval, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that November 10th, 2022 agenda has been approved as posted. Approval of minutes. Any amendments to the minutes?
No, sir.
None. Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the October 27th, 2022 minutes have been approved and will be recorded as official minutes of that meeting. Okay, Mayor's report. I'm going to start by thanking our board members and all the Farragut staff and committee volunteers for a successful Freaky Friday night with very nice weather. I think all the kids had a great time. And I'll now turn it over to the Vice Mayor for her report.
I have 2 items, a proclamation, but first I wanted to wish a congratulations to Senator Briggs and Representative Zachary on their reelection. They serve our community very well behind the scenes. We have a very good working relationship with them. Their phones are always open to us whenever we have issues or there's concerns about something that's going on at the state level. They're always there and working with us and taking care of us. So appreciative that they're going to be serving another, 2 for Representative Zachary and 4 years for Senator Briggs. So. And the next thing I have is Town of Farragut Proclamation 2022 Small Business Saturday. Whereas the government of the Town of Farragut, Tennessee celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, and whereas, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 32.5 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.7% of firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 62% of net new jobs created since 1995. And small businesses employed 46.8% of employees in the private sector in the United States. And whereas 79% of consumers understand the importance of supporting the small businesses in their community on Small Business Saturday, 70% report the day makes them want to encourage others to shop small, independently owned retailers. And 66% report that the day makes them want to shop small all year long. And whereas 58% of shoppers reported they shopped online with small business, and 54% reported they dined or ordered takeout from a small restaurant, bar, or cafe on Small Business Saturday in 2021. And whereas Farragut, Tennessee supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities, and whereas advocacy groups as well as public and private organizations across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, now therefore the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Farragut, Tennessee do hereby proclaim November 26, 2022 as Small Business Saturday, and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. And as a small business owner, we appreciate everyone supporting our small businesses, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other aldermen have anything to report?
No, sir.
Okay, if not, then we'll move on. We have two first reading ordinances on tonight's agenda for review and public hearing. We'll start out with ordinance 22-14, an ordinance of the town of Farragut, Tennessee, amending Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 8, Businesses, by adding Article 3, Mobile Food Vending Permit.
Yes, sir. Over the past few years, the request for mobile vending usage has increased, and currently the authority for the food trucks is in the special event process. After discussions with staff and event organizers, it was decided to have a separate permit for all mobile food vendors to streamline the process for the authority and the inspection process. So within the new ordinance for the mobile food vending permit, there'll be requirements for obtaining a permit, including the inspection of the mobile food vending unit, when a mobile food vending is allowed, requirements for mobile food vending in the town of Farragut parks, compliance with fire and public safety regulations, suspension and revocation, and the process for appeals of the suspension and revocation. In the past, the usage of the mobile food vending has not been clearly defined as to where and when it can operate. So ordinance 22-14 will clarify this usage. As mobile food vendor units are inspected and approved, a listing of those approved will be available on the town website for citizens and event organizers for usage and verification. The application fee for the permit has already been approved in the town of Farragut fee schedule and is valid for 1 year. Currently, the food vendor pays the fee for each special event they are participating in, and with a new permit, it'll be a one-time annual fee. So the motion is to approve ordinance 22-14 on first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, do we have any residents' comments concerning this? We do not? Okay, then I'll start with discussion. Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Alderman White. Alderman Burnett.
Yeah, I mean, with the growth of people wanting access to food trucks and food trucks at events, I think making it easier on them, realizing their margins are small, very small. I think this is a great move, and I think most that frequent the town will be very pleased with this. So,
Okay. Thank you, Alderman Burnett. Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
Nothing, I do not either. Alderman Burnett said it well. With sufficient discussion, I'll ask Town Recorder to take a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Meyer.
You're voting.
Yes. I think about what I was going to say
Alderman
here.
Coughlin.
Yes.
Alderman White. Yes. Alderman Burnett.
yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the ordinance 22-14 has been approved by roll call vote as presented on the first reading. Next will be ordinance 22-13, an ordinance to amend the text of the Farragut zoning ordinance, ordinance 86-16, as amended pursuant to authority granted by section 13-4-201 Tennessee annotated by amending the Farragut Municipal Code Appendix A, Chapter 4, Section 24, Special Event Permit, and Section 29, Grand Opening Special Event Permit.
Yes, sir. Since you guys approved ordinance 22-14, revisions to this section of the code will need to be revised with the creation of the mobile food vending permit. So staff has worked to provide clear requirements for the vendor participating in special event. The key updates to the sections is the requirement for the food vendor to acquire an annual mobile food vending permit instead of paying per special event. The motion is to approve ordinance 22-13 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any residents
No, sir.
signed up for this one? No? Okay. Then we'll start out with Alderman Meyer again.
Pass.
Alderman White. Alderman Burnett.
No comment.
Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
I do not as well. With sufficient discussion and it being closed, I ask Town Recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pavlin.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Let the record show that ordinance 22-13 has been approved by roll call vote on the first reading. Okay, we'll move on to business items. We have 5 business items on tonight's agenda to review and consider. We'll start off with approval of bids for contract 2022-07, Advanced Traffic Management System, Phase 1.
Good evening, Board. I'm Brandon Tupper, the Assistant Town Engineer. First and foremost, before we get into the actual approval here, I think we're all very pleased to see the Advanced Traffic Management System moving forward. I want to do a quick introduction and shout out to the ATMS team. Obviously, Daryl Smith's been working on this for several years to get the funding and the project going. We have our design consultants with Cannon, Kimley Horn, that's Brian Haas and Brad Waldschmidt. We have Andrew Sonner, who with WSP, they're leading up the effort for the Make Ready work and will be doing all the inspection and testing and integration of the system throughout construction. And then Bill Medley with Progression Electric, who is the apparent low bidder, and if awarded tonight by the board, will lead the effort for the construction of the system. So with that introduction, the first item on the agenda here is approval bids for contract 2022-07, Advanced Traffic Management System Phase 1. So we know that the priority of the board, and Alderman Meyer hit on it earlier, is traffic reduction in town, and we've been talking about it all night now. So what this actually does is reduces congestion through the town by upgrading our traffic signal system. So several years ago, we were able to obtain funding through the Federal Highway Administration's Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Act to actually pay for this project. That was about 5 years ago, and with anything that involves federal funding, it takes a while to develop. So this project's been in the works now for several years, and you're probably asking what exactly is an advanced traffic management system. So what the project itself is: construction, installation, testing, and integration of a fully functional interconnected traffic signal system. What is actually in the project will replace all of our traffic signal cabinets and all the equipment inside of them with up-to-date, the latest technology and new equipment for all signals in the town. Second, we'll update all of our detection. Right now we have a combination of loop detection that you see in the asphalt, camera detection and radar detection. We will go to all radar detection, which is the most reliable form of detection that we can have. Next, we'll provide a CCTV, which will be involves installation of several cameras at key intersections throughout town, which will provide a live feed back to town hall and engineering. To do that, then probably the biggest part of the project is an Ethernet-based fiber optic communication system. So it will actually run a dark fiber connection to all the signals throughout town, and that'll terminate here in the building in Town Hall. And at the termination point of that, we will have a traffic control center. So here in Town Hall, we'll be able to modify timing, view the CCTV, and just overall be much more reactive to traffic situations throughout town. Also, as part of the project, we'll be doing ADA upgrades at all the intersections, similar to what TDOT did for us on Kingston Pike. We'll get the remaining intersections as part of this project, which is improving the ramps, modifying the push buttons to make sure they're accessible and things of that nature. And lastly, there's some other improvements that go with it, such as installation of mast arms at the signals. There's, I believe, 5 intersections here in town that still don't have a mast arm, and we'll go ahead and install mast arms as part of this project as well. So there's a ton of moving parts, and just overall, it'll make for a much more reliable, dependable traffic signal system. Say it's not magic in a box. It doesn't, as Brian talked about during the workshop, it won't solve issues such as capacity issues. So we still will have some traffic, but it will be make for, again, a much more reliable system that will be all interconnected and be synchronized and be just better timing and more reliable overall. quick update on where we're at. The design was complete in 2020. The utility make-ready work, and what that is actually a lot of the fiber is being hung on existing LCB poles on Kingston Pike. So to hang the fiber on that, some of the poles needed to be replaced. Some of the existing telecommunication companies had to move their lines for us. That work's ongoing. That is being headed up by WSP right now. I know that LCUB's completed all their pole replacements, and we're in the process of getting the telecommunications moved. And finally, the actual construction bid was opened on August 17th, 2022. So we had 3 bidders that bid on the project, and it was a very competitive bid. Great to see competition like this. And the apparent low bidder is Progression Electric LLC with their bid of $4,876,836.18. Once we received the bids, they went through a thorough check by staff here, our consultants, and ultimately went to TDOT, where they did a very thorough check on the bids and recommended, and they are recommending award to Progression Electric. So with that said, the staff's pleased with our consultants' concurrence, and specifically TDOT's concurrence, to recommend approval of the award of contract 2022-07 ATMS Phase 1 to Progression Electric LLC for $4,876,836.18.
Enthusiastically move.
I think we all second that one. You're not kidding us this time, right? We're moving ahead.
No, it's real.
Any resident comments? None. Discussion? Boy, this will be a good one. Alderman Meyer?
I'm going to pass.
Alderman White? Alderman Burnett?
Yeah, I mean, very excited about this. Glad the bids came in where they did. I think it's going to provide just a tremendous foundation for the future, and the add-ons that will have the capabilities to add on once this system's in, that do things that are pretty amazing as well. So super excited to get this first step underway.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor?
I have just a few questions. I know we're replacing all the cabinets. Will the cabinets be smaller than what we have out there now? Is that?
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they'll be the same size. We are going to go with, or a very similar size. They will be powder-coated black to fit in a little bit better, be a little bit more discreet, or green on Parkside, but they'll be very similar in size and nature, correct?
All right. And also in-house management of the system I know that I think Maryville has a CMAC ATMS. How often do they have to go back and kind of remonitor the system, and are we consulting with them to see how long it's going to take us in-house staff time to deal with this?
Terrific question. A couple things. Part of the system startup from WSP and from our supplier of the controllers will involve a training process. So they'll be here in Town Hall, and the plan right now would be to train myself and Daryl and our technicians on how to operate the system. And possibly, Andrew, I don't know if you could talk to at all as far as how Maryville operates their system, but the plan right now would be to operate it with our engineering staff, similar like we do now with a town engineer, assistant town engineer, and the techs. Obviously, when we get the system up and running, there's potential to have consultants assist with that as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I just spoke briefly with the the engineer from Maryville, and he says it is one of those things where you can't just set it and leave it alone. You kind of have to go back and because walk buttons are hit and kind of throws timing off, and then you kind of have to just go back and reset the system. So I just make sure that our staff is not overloaded with that on top of all the other stuff that you have going on. So
Definitely.
that's all I had.
Okay. Well, I have no questions, but I do want to watch during the training.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So he can run it himself. When I'm coming to the meetings, I would like if all the lights are green while I'm trying to.
Okay, discussion's closed. I'll ask all in favor. Vote by approval by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let the record show that the bid for contract 2022-07 has been approved. Finally.
Yes.
Okay, next will be And Brandon can stay up there. Approval of purchase agreement for traffic signal equipment, Advanced Traffic Management System, Phase 1.
Thank you, Mayor. So this agenda item just goes really hand in hand with the first one that you just approved. So the actual technology that would be the controllers inside the cabinets, and then the software system that will be managing, or that will kind of control the system. We did what's called a qualifications-based selection for that. That's a TDOT standard when you have something that's highly technical of this nature. So several years ago, as part of the design process, a request for proposals was put out to all the different type of manufacturers. They submitted qualifications. They actually came in here in Town Hall and did presentations of here's how our system works, here's why it's better than the other guys. And our consultants and the staff reviewed all those and made the selection based on what is the best technology and what will work best for us and our system. At that time, TCS was selected, and they'll be providing McCain controllers. So a scope of work was drawn up as part of that, and that involves, So they involve providing the central system software and integration. Again, that's here in Town Hall, the actual system itself. Populate and configure the database. So they will set it up, make sure all the timing's working, make sure that all the timing plans are in place and that everything's talking to each other. Supply the controllers that will be installed by the construction contractor, and then also provide 5 years of maintenance and support. So as Vice Mayor Potvin pointed out, there will obviously be some training aspect to this and some support that will be needed as we learn the new system. One thing to note, they did provide a quote back in 2019 when this qualification-based selection was made. Obviously, the ATMS had some delays, and unfortunately, we're here about 3 years later, so they did have to supply an updated quote to us, but it's still within budget. We had our consultants check and make sure that the quote still jives with the actual pricing, and it's a good quote. So also, this had to go to TDOT as well for approval. So with our consultants' input and TDOT's concurrence, we're pleased also to recommend approval of the purchase agreement for supply of the ATMS Phase 1 equipment with Transportation Control Systems Incorporated for $243,120.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Resident comments?
sir.
None. Discussion, Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Alderman White. Vice Mayor?
I have nothing.
I don't either. With sufficient discussion of contract, I ask that all in favor of approval vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that the purchase agreement has been approved. Okay, next will be approval of supplement for additional design services for increased fiber capacity for the Advanced Traffic Management System, Phase 1.
Thank you, Mayor. This third agenda item here, I'll say this is an option that if the board wishes to, the project will move forward regardless of approval of this option. But the board did ask that we explore increasing the fiber capacity from 72 strand to 144 strand. So what does that mean? The fiber was sized appropriately by our consultants for operating this traffic signal system, but there's also plenty of other uses we can use for the fiber. Most notably, I know that we can interconnect our different town facilities, so Public Works, the community center, town hall, even potential for doing things like supplying Wi-Fi to the parks. There's a ton of opportunity and potential uses for the fiber once it's in place. So we talked to our consultants and got some pricing on what exactly it would take to increase the fiber. And what we found was increasing the fiber now, you can really do it for a fraction of the cost of what it would take to do new fiber in the future. So what you're actually in front of you here would be approval of a supplement to our design consultant, Cannon to update their design and get updated pricing on the construction contract to increase the fiber from 72 strand to 144 strand, so doubling the capacity of the fiber.
So move to approve the supplemental request from Canon and Canon Inc. for additional design services of fiber capacity increase for $9,700.
Second.
Okay. Rest of comments? None. Okay, discussion. Alderman Mayor,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Alderman White. No question. Vice Mayor.
Just a quick point, I'm so relieved you guys are doing this, that this is so important to the future opportunities that, actually, I don't even think we were aware of yet, but to have that capacity, just in case, to better serve our community is, I'm just thrilled that we're moving ahead with this, so thank you.
Okay, I have nothing as well. Discussion now closed. I'll ask that all in favor of approval state so by saying yes.
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 Let the record show that supplement has been approved as requested.
Thank you.
Okay. Next will be approval of purchase for one 2023 two-wheel drive Tahoe.
I'm gonna whisper, Allison.
Wait.
Okay, you good? Good evening, Board. I'm Karen Tyndall. I'm the tourism manager here at the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to approve the purchase of one 2023 Chevy Tahoe two-wheel drive through the Tennessee statewide contract 209. The purchase of this vehicle is intended to be used for the tourism department as a mobile visitor center and an additional pool car for town staff. Attached in your packet tonight is pricing through the state of Tennessee contract for the vehicle from Allen J. Fleet Services in the amount of $38,077. The Mobile Visitor Center will enhance and simplify the visitors' access to relevant information on our area and increase visitor engagement while leading to an increase in visitor spend per visit. Trained tourism staff and Visit Farragut ambassadors plan to utilize the Mobile Visitor Center throughout the week and the weekends at hotels, tournaments, local and regional events to provide custom recommendations on local attractions, restaurants, and retail opportunities. Meaningful and direct engagement with our visitors fosters positive relationships, increasing visitor retention rates and word-of-mouth recommendations. The purchase of this vehicle to be used as a mobile visitor center shifts our current staff focus from a traditional office model to a visitor-first approach by providing exceptional customer service to our community and our visitors. During the budget process, $50,000 was allocated for the Mobile Visitor Center project. The cost of the vehicle, as you see there in your packet, is $38,077, leaving a remaining balance of $11,923. That remaining balance will be used to wrap the vehicle and based on pricing, add a video screen to the back and some shelving so that it makes it a real a vehicle that is easily utilized by the staff when we are out in the field. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
To approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments on
Sir.
this one? None. Okay. Discussion. Alderman White.
No, sir.
Alderman Burnett.
No questions.
Alderman Mayor.
Pass.
Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
I have nothing as well. With discussion closed, I'll ask that all in favor vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show that purchase has been approved. Thank you, Karen. Okay, next will be approval of 12-month contract with Knoxville Metropolitan Airport Authority for video advertising at McGee-Tyson Airport.
So again, the introduction on this, nearly 2 million passengers utilize McGee-Tyson Airport each year as the front door to beautiful East Tennessee. Gateway advertising is essential in building brand awareness for Farragut to really let the guests in the region know everything that we have to offer here in Farragut. So some background on this. In August of 2023, the town of Farragut was awarded a Tennessee Department of Tourist Development marketing grant in the amount of $6,000 for gateway advertising to create brand awareness and position Farragut as the best option for overnight stays and shopping in the East Tennessee area. The TDTD marketing grants are structured as a 50-50 marketing grant. The fiscal year 23 budget allocated $15,000 for special project media buys, and the Tennessee Department marketing grant will reimburse the town $6,000 for this project. Incoming flight passengers with checked baggage are known to stay in area longer, so they're going to stay in East Tennessee longer and spend more money while visiting the area. Therefore, the goal was to advertise on the 2 double video screens above the baggage carousel at the airport. These are high-definition screens which can play both static images and moving video display, full-color moving video. The Visit Farragut video was produced with our staff and through with the help of P38 Aerial, and the video is 30 seconds long and will run approximately in a loop every 2.5 minutes at the airport above the baggage claim. Just to give you an idea, some other advertisers on that loop include Blackberry Farm, Visit Knoxville. Kelsey Ballerini actually welcomes everybody to the airport, so it's kind of fun to see our images right up there with those. Videos, we've also, and those videos can be updated at any time throughout the contract period for no additional cost. So we are currently looking at updating the video for a Light the Park video. Videos on the concourse screen, so there'll be 2 videos on the concourse screen as well. They ensure that both our incoming and outgoing flight passengers will have the opportunity to view the advertising, which increases the reach of our brand awareness campaign. According to the McGee-Tyson Airport fact sheet, almost 2 million passengers traverse the terminal every year, with 65% of airline travelers spending more than 30 minutes in the airport terminal after passing through security. Additionally, affluent and upscale Americans who take 4 or more flights per year account for almost 60% of all airport advertising impressions. McGee-Tyson Airport is the front door to East Tennessee, and this advertising puts the Farragut brand in front of nearly 2 million passengers a year. This advertising also supports the Town of Farragut strategic plan in enhancing the town's financial position by increasing the sales tax base through tourism development. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Move to approve the 12-month contract with the Metropolitan Airport Authority for baggage carousel and concourse video screen advertising in the amount of $12,000.
Okay.
No, sir.
No residents, okay. Discussion, Vice Mayor?
Nothing.
Alderman Burnett?
No questions.
Alderman White? Alderman Meyer?
Pass.
Okay. Okay, discussion's closed. I'll ask that all in favor vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the contract has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next will be the town administrator's report. I'll turn it over to David.
Thank you very much, Mayor. A couple of big events, since we don't have a second board meeting in November. Just wanted to remind everybody on November 21st, which is the Monday before Thanksgiving, we'll have our Light the Park celebration out at Founders Park starting at 5 o'clock. I know our Public Works Department is working very intently on getting everything ready to go for the holiday season. And I know Steve Krimpaski with the FBA is working hard on getting the entertainment there and making sure that we have our special guests arrive and be able to help light the park with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So looking for a great night that night. Hopefully have some great weather too and a great crowd. Other one that we have that also happens on December 1st is our Celebrate the Season event at the Community Center. That starts at 4:30. We're going to have pictures with Santa, crafts, and things that some of the kids can make there, and it'll be a great event as well at the Community Center. So 2 big Christmas events coming up here in the next few weeks, and we look forward to having everybody out for them. And that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Looks like Mr. Hale's done left for the evening, so he does not have a report. Citizen comments?
Yes, sir, I have 2 tonight. The first one is Martin, I think, Schaffner.
Okay,
Can you take one of these and pass it down?
Thank you very much for letting me be here tonight. It's amazing how fast we can spend $5 million, right? Or more. My name is Martin Schaffner. My wife and
your
I...
address, sir.
Hello?
Your address, please.
Oh, my address.
Yes, sir.
I was getting ready to say that. My
You're on
wife,
TV.
I live on 11224 Sonia Drive, over here in Farragut. We've lived there 51 out of the 60 years that she and I have been married, okay? Come April, it'll be 52 years, okay? We really like it there. We live on the south side of Sonia, just east of the sidewalk that leads to the back side of Farragut High. All of our 3 children and 2 of our grandchildren graduated from Farragut. Okay. Our subdivision, Farragut View, is one of the older ones in the town of Farragut. Most homes were built in the 1950s. However, the larger lots there make it desirable, and a number of younger couples have moved in with small children, okay? We've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of them. Farragut was part of the Knox County when we moved there. Campbell Station was a 2-lane road. Farragut High was on the south side of Kingston Pike, not where it is now. We watched both the high school and the middle school from our property being built, brick by brick. Traffic on Sonia was minuscule, with the comings and goings of residents being the only traffic. Bottom line, Farragut growth has exploded, and it continues to do so, as you well know. I personally would like to commend the town on its forward thinking, as evidenced by some of the things that were voted on tonight. On most issues, you got a tough job, and I don't envy you for it. I also commend the town for seeking and listening to citizens like me, providing input that can improve the town. In that regard, I believe that you would agree that a major goal of this board should be to address and eliminate the town's unsafe conditions, traffic or otherwise. I also believe that you're aware that the residents on Sonia Drive have a dangerous speeding problem. Our street is narrow. The sidewalk is but a few feet from the edge of the pavement. The rear sidewalk access to the high and middle schools has resulted in cars backed up on the hill in front of my house at 11224 every day. Over the past several years, we have made 2 attempts to have traffic control devices installed on Sonia, but to no avail. Regrettably, these 2 attempts failed, and not because the residents directly impacted voted against it. It failed because those living in nearby areas, known as the affected area, were allowed to also vote, and they voted no to the traffic cushions. I would like to submit that affected area is a misnomer. It should be called the inconvenienced area. While I'm sure that most of those people are nice folks, they are not directly impacted as we are by the excessive speed. They were merely inconvenienced by having to slow down in front of a speed cushion, okay? I do not know the actual number of ballots that were submitted by the affected area, or inconvenience area as I call them. But 187 were submitted by that area compared to 42 submitted by the folks on Sonia Drive. Ladies and gentlemen, that's almost 5 times as many votes submitted by the people outside the street that's being impacted as the people that were voting on it, okay? I respectfully say that this is wrong. There is also another factor or group that has now come into play that has resulted in creating a dangerous risk on Sonia. This group I call the expediency group. And these folks, their only concern is how quickly they can circumvent the lights at West End and Kingston Pike and Campbell Station and Kingston Pike and getting over to Campbell Station to go to the interstate. They have no concern whatsoever about the safety of the people on Sonia. In summary, I'm not going to belabor this point. You always know where I'm going. But in summary, 78.6% of Sonia residents overwhelmingly voted for a safer road. But these citizens were voted down by a town policy that allows about 5 times, in this case, as many living outside the area to determine the safety of our street. That's not right. That's really not right. The results of the town traffic studies, which I've got here, clearly shows that there's a need for traffic control on Sonia, the reduction in speeding. However, allowing so many that don't live there to decide our fate negates our efforts to do anything about it. We're making the attempt. We tried twice now, but it's not because of our desire to have something done. We've been at the mercy of people that living outside the area. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Schaffner.
Thank you a lot.
Our next speaker is
If the
Brian.
county would like a copy, the city would like to have a copy of this, my comments, I'll be glad to give it to you.
Our next speaker is Brian Jeffrey at 205 Peterson.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good. My name's Brian Jeffrey. I live on Peterson Road. We've owned our home since 2011. I went to high school with Alderman Burnett. So I know that you all have a good understanding of how quickly this area is growing. What was your name again? I'm sorry. Mr. Schaffner pointed out a very good point about the inconvenience. The inconvenienced. I have the same issue happening on Peterson Road, to the point where, and I know this is ridiculous, but in the mornings, I sit on my front porch with a tourniquet because I am scared to death that a child is going to get hit because the speeds are just flat out obnoxious. You know, we did a lot of good work several years ago. We restriped it. We brought a lot of awareness. I know the sheriff came out. They were, enforcing. People kind of got the message. But then it seemed that there was an explosion in Farragut, and everybody's moving here. They've added additional neighborhoods that are connected to my road, and people are using that just like an interstate. And when I say interstate, like, I'm not joking. There was speed studies showing people going over 60 miles an hour in a neighborhood. And it's crazy. Last Christmas, I actually had to pick my dog, my neighbor's dog, out of the street because it got hit and the person took off. They had small kids at home, so I actually put the dog, the dead animal, in my shed away from, obviously I told the parents, but because it would just break the kid's heart. And it was horrible. My son, getting off of the school bus, walking to our house, got hit by somebody going up Peterson Road. It was somebody driving by with tow mirrors, hit him. So the idea that somebody outside of our road in possibly a different neighborhood gets to make a decision on the traffic calming measures that happen in front of our houses is, quite frankly, ridiculous. I mean, this used to be a farming town, so people would use those throughways, to get to different areas, but, that was, maybe 2 or 3 cars, a day. Now you're talking about thousands, and they're all just ridiculously, like, they're speeding, like, and I hated that in the time past where I had to go out there and I had to record people speeding on my road and put it on the neighborhood site just to get people to stop. I hated doing that. It looks bad on us. It looks bad on the town. It looks bad on the neighbors. Makes me look like a total jerk, But at the same time, like, I don't think you all understand like how serious that this is, and it's flat out a miracle that a kid has not been killed on Peterson yet. So I would appreciate if we could look at how this voting system is done to enforce these traffic calming issues.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey.
Excellent.
So I asked Mr. Schaffner and Mr. Jeffrey to join us because I know that this Sonia Drive has been through quite a bit. And actually, when I ran, I knocked on my doors in 2016, and I met Mr. Schaffner, and that's when I found out that because they lived on a collector, they were not, the traffic calming policy at the time excluded them from consideration. And that was the first change that we made as a board. We amended that policy. And so they were brought in and they were able to vote. And the way the vote went, the outside area was able to vote, and they failed to get the 65%. So we went back and we amended the policy to separate out the speed zone and the affected area, and they came back and they've just went through another vote, and as you can tell, 78%, more than 78% of the residents along that stretch of road approved it, and it got shot down again. And I have to agree with what these two gentlemen are complaining about. We know speeding is a problem in just about all of our neighborhoods. The people that are voting no would not tolerate, the 85th percentile on on Peterson is 45 miles per hour. That means 15% of the people are going faster than 45 miles per hour on a neighborhood street. I think we need to take another workshop and amend this policy and allow for these people to find some relief, that if they support it in large numbers, we should be able to provide them a safe road where people are forced to slow down. I don't know if you have had an opportunity to experience the new speed cushions that we put out on Midhurst. They are enough to get you to slow down, but not. They're not as abrupt as the ones we had been installing in the past. So I
Like
think
Village Green,
Yeah.
not as abrupt
Yeah.
as those.
Oh, not. They're beautiful. You got to ride over there. I was like, this is good, because it does make you slow down, but it's not like you have to go to 3 miles per hour and jump over the thing.
I'll go ahead and second a workshop on that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I had questions when it came up in the back of Kingsgate as well, so I'd love to talk about it further.
All right.
I've talked to quite a few mayors concerning the same exact thing in other towns. And one of the things that they look at is, and I agree with this, is when you have a subdivision that has 2 distinct entrances, you don't go by affected area and speed zone area. You go by the area that's in question. Because the affected area, the residents have another way to go. They have another way to get out of their subdivision. And that goes for both of these subdivisions. Sonia, they have another way to go. This place over here, or this other area over here, if they don't want to go across the speed cushions, then they can come out on Kingston Pike. They don't have to go out this exit. The thing about Kingsgate here, if you would prefer not to go across any speed humps whatsoever, then you can go out to the back way and go that way. So both of these subdivisions are good examples of ones that have more than one entrance. And I think we really need to look at this seriously when it comes to, I can understand it when it's only has one entrance, but, and we have quite a few that do, but in this case, it's primarily the people that live in the area that use it, and other people are just using it for a cut-through. So that's all I've got. Scott, you're next.
Nothing else to add, except let's workshop it as soon as possible.
Alderman White?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It ought to be looked at and some changes made. It is kind of ridiculous that the people that don't have to travel that road get to vote affect the people that have to live there and live. Their pets and children live in fear every day of getting run over, so I agree it should be looked at and some serious consideration given.
So I guess we need to look at another workshop.
We will get it on the calendar. I'll get with engineering, and we'll get with you as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Looks like the time's approximately 6:52 p.m. and without objection, November 10th, 2022, Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.